We live in an era of unprecedented digital connection, yet we are experiencing a measurable physical crisis of human isolation. In May 2023, U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy issued an official advisory declaring loneliness a public health epidemic. This chart reveals the scale. Roughly half of all U.S. adults are currently struggling with this sense of being alone. The physical danger is staggering. Severe, long-term isolation does as much damage to the body as smoking 12 cigarettes daily. Loneliness isn't just a private sadness, it is a physical threat to our actual survival. To see where this epidemic operates, we have to look past the clinical data and into the quiet, everyday spaces where people live. It is found in the nursing home room, where a resident waits hours for a visitor who never walks through the door. It is the specific wait of a widow sitting on her front porch, simply because the silence inside her house has become too loud to bear. This isolation strikes both the hyper-visible leader carrying a heavy ministry in secret and the homeless individual who is ignored by every passerby. When our human connections fail, we find ourselves unequipped to face life's most daunting battles alone. Thousands of years ago, a massive group of people stood at the edge of a new territory, facing a terrifying transition. Moses, their longtime leader, was passing the torch to a younger man named Joshua, who was now tasked with leading the nation into the unknown. Joshua faced immense stakes. He had to lead a people into literal warfare against fortified cities and massive armies, without his mentor beside him. Joshua's greatest vulnerability wasn't just the enemy armies. It was the paralyzing dread of facing those high walls entirely on his own. In the ancient text of Deuteronomy, Moses speaks directly to the root of Joshua's fear. He uses specific, powerful language. God goes with you, and he will never leave you nor forsake you. Note carefully what Moses does not say. He never promises that the battles will vanish or that the fortified walls will melt away. Instead, he explains a different mechanic. This timeline shows how God's presence goes before the individual. The isolated space you are about to enter is already occupied before you even take your first step. The lasting antidote to loneliness is the realization of a God who actively occupies our most isolated moments. When we return to our modern environments, we can view them through the promise Moses gave to Joshua. The widow's house is still physically empty, and the leader's burden is still heavy, but the spiritual reality of that space has changed. The Surgeon General's report warns that the feeling of being forsaken keeps the body in a constant state of biological stress. However, when we acknowledge a constant presence, that internal alarm system can finally settle. Moses' ancient final words become a personal command for us today. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Knowing you are never truly facing your battles alone is the single most empowering truth we can carry into the unknown. Take a moment now to step into a quiet, personal space of reflection. Why is it vital for your own peace of mind to know that the room you are in right now is not empty? How much comfort can you draw today from the fact that God has already gone before you into your tomorrow? Let's pray together. Dear God, thank you that I'm never alone. Thank you for walking before me and staying beside me. Carry this assurance with you. His presence remains active and unbroken, long after the screen goes dark.